My name is Baldus and welcome to my first real video. Today I want to try something new, something I personally think we need more of: opening strategy discussion for Old World, especially for multiplayer. Today's subject is Greece, and this video is aimed at players who already understand fundamentals and are playing with current competitive multiplayer settings. As for my credentials, well, I'm not a tournament player myself, and I haven't played dozens and dozens of competitive games, but that won't stop me because I've fallen in love with this game. Maybe through comments or Discord discussion, the guide and your experience could enhance this guide even further. In the background, while I'll talk, I'll showcase an opening with this guide. Why Greece? Greece is often associated with playing tall, stacking culture, and reaching legendary cities faster than almost anyone else, and that reputation is deserved. They can become a late game powerhouse with access to wonders and high tier lores earlier than most nations. But what often gets overlooked is that Greece also has one of the strongest tempo focused early games in Old World. I'll explain why Greece can take control of the game very early and how they transition into a commanding position for the mid game and a smooth path towards forlorn power spikes. First, let's get into families. First and most importantly, champions, which is probably the strongest family in the game, at least in the multiplayer setting. With the champions, you will get access to a free military unit from the get-go, which might not sound like a huge bonus, but it's gonna make early clearing of tribes and barbarian camps way easier. In combination with steadfast, will make your early game expansion so much easier and way more efficient. Also, the 50% military production will give you access to a very productive, maybe capital or second city, with unmatched potential for actual military production if you stack the bonuses, and nations without access to champions will have a hard time in the early game to match your military production. You might not have the defensive capabilities of hunters with sentinel, but at least it will be difficult to attack you if you keep building military units in a champion city, and that's most likely what you're going to do. The next family I'd like to talk about is artisans. Artisans are pretty strong for your overall strategy. They will get an extra worker, which again, pretty good tempo at the get-go of the early game. You will have stronger mines, giving you iron, which you will need later. And if you want to, you can most likely grab a religion with fast, easy second shrine in your second city, giving you access to a religion if you want to go that route. Although I do not necessarily recommend it, it's still a very strong family for our overall plan. My third pick for family is usually sages. For this overall strategy, you want a very strong science game, and sages is going to help with that. Mainly thanks to their free tech, which might high roll and get very lucky, but in general it's just great having access to better science, and sages will provide that. So that's normally the third family for this strategy. We've talked about the families, let's talk about leaders. The main thing you're looking for is getting tempo from science, and that's why we have three options. We have schemer, tactician, or scholar. Of these three, I highly recommend going with a schemer for a few reasons. The first thing, for wisdom, is great for the early game science boost, and that is going to snowball into a significant bonus in the early to mid game. The second thing is the ability to buy extra orders. This is huge. You're going to miss orders in the beginning for most nations, but especially Greece, as they lack any generic good route to these extra orders, and a schemer is going to provide that. Also, the bonus of hidden scouts is going to make your early game scouting more efficient, which is very nice. It's gonna offer us some tempo. So for the first leader, I think schemer is the best choice. Regarding leader traits, I do believe the best trait currently is intelligent. it's honestly borderline overtuned and is most likely going to be changed soon. Some good alternatives would be educated, providing 2 extra wisdom, or maybe warlike or affable, both stacking great with your extra and excellent culture production, so those are pretty good choices as well. Let's talk a bit about Greece's other bonuses. The first one, the settler discount. While this might not look that huge on paper, early on it's absolutely great. It's going to provide on average between 100 and maybe 150 extra food in the early stages of the game, and might be the difference between being able to pump out settlers, settler, settler, or having to go with a few workers in between. So it synergizes well with our strategy about grabbing a few cities very fast and very dominant. So this is great. The next bonus is the culture boost. Again, you might think this is great for the late game, but having a lot of settlers early will get them going on this culture bonus and give access to what bonuses this culture is going to provide even earlier. So again, this is actually pretty good. Let's talk briefly about the hoplite, Greece's first unique unit. It's powerful and flexible. It doesn't require a complicated setup, as you don't need horses or elephants in any particular city, and it does in fact totally counter any kind of mounted units in the early game. It is a bit expensive though, as it does have a lumber cost, and you will not have lumber mills at this point in time, most likely. So that's a bit of a minus. However, you will be able to skip phalanx and focus on the bottom part of the tech tree, and that synergizes well with this overall strategy because that's most likely where you would like to go. And with that, let's talk a bit about the tech tree. Greece is the only nation with access to drama from turn 1, which in itself isn't really that enticing. However, it does provide you with a unique ability to get the free settler tech card earlier than any opponent. Most might even skip this card when they eventually get around to it. Greece will most likely pick this tech up as their tech number 2. This, again, will allow them to get maybe a third or fourth city faster than any other nation. You will use the champions from the get-go to clear more sites faster and easier than any other nation is capable of, and you will use this science to fuel your economy with access to the extra settler, the stone boost, maybe a worker boost if you go that route, and also you will be able to build a lot of settlers cheaper than other nations, often as the first build in every city. And if you can't afford a settler, you will most likely build a worker, with the exception of your champion site that is going to build exclusively military units. This will give you early game economy and safety with the military it provides. As for your overall tech choices, in general, navigation for the extra 5 orders is great. Slavery is also great because you will have a lot of cities early to fuel your economy. Afterwards, I recommend going to the bottom of the tree, trying to get the civic boost to get all your laws online early and easily. Centralization, also great, as you'll have pretty good early game culture in your capital most likely. So that is also going to help a lot. So there you have it, my idea about how to open with Greece, putting yourself in a strong position for an early game into mid-game push most likely. Often you will have to adapt, overcome what challenges coming your way. It would be a great advice to try to get your cities connected early on. It would be a good advice to be upfront about taking maybe a wife or husband, getting the family started, but that might be a talk for another time. I hope you've enjoyed this little short guide I hope you like the format, and if you have any questions or any comments, put them down below or catch me on the Old World Discord. This has been Baldur's strategy guide opening, whatever, maybe the first of many, we'll see. But thanks for watching and have a great day.